What's going on, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I do hope you're doing well, mate. Really do hope that. In today's Chelsea news video, we're going a little bit deeper into the Victor Osimhen story. Apparently, he really wants to come to Chelsea. Of course, there are other suitors. He'd like to come to the Premier League, and if we are to believe 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐒𝐂𝐒𝐏, he'd love to come to Chelsea. His price, his transfer fee from Napoli, who have completely washed their hands of him, is really ruddy cheap in the grand scheme of things. I want to get into that. I want to speak about his wage demands as well, because Chelsea have a wage structure. I'm going to remind you guys some of the stats on 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐒𝐿. There is a story rotating as well about Rodrigo of Real Madrid. We can talk a little bit about that. It's coming from a Spanish report. Also, of course, big players will be leaving Chelsea this summer. If we get our way, three huge earners off the books. Of course, Raheem Sterling, potentially 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐒𝐿 Mudryk, who earns not massive amounts, but decent amounts, and Nkunku. So Nkunku and Sterling, two of the three highest earners at Chelsea, could be making way for Victor Osimhen's wages. So we're going to cover all of that today, citing 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐒𝐿, OneFootball, and looking at 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿 platform for more Osimhen stats. We can maybe talk about, alternatives as well. So strap yourselves in, guys. It's going to be a ruddy good video. Thank you as always for joining me. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Why not show some sweet love by liking and subscribing? Yeah, and I'm delighted. Just take a moment and listen to this from my partner. Guys, I regret to inform you that your personal data is being sold on online databases. Nothing is safe or sacred anymore, but fortunately this video is brought to you by my partner 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿, which is going to help you. That's right, brokers are selling your personal details on online databases. There are hundreds, and it's growing all the time because you know what the internet's like. Things spread like wildfire. You're probably asking me, Jan, what personal details of mine are being sold online to these databases? Well, your personal details like your home address, your buying and personal preferences, personal identification numbers and social security numbers, even your family members' details are all aggregated together and being sold. Ugh. This can bring very real threats from danger like, identity fraud and stuff like that, or even just really annoying like spam emails and spam phone calls and sales stuff all the time that they've all got your details from databases, and it's just really annoying. Fortunately, 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿 are offering a solution for this. It's a service that you simply just sign up for, tell them the individual you want wiped away from these databases, grant them permission to do said work, and then just sit back and let 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿 wipe away your name clean. It's completely automated. It all happens in the background. It's the kind of work that if you did yourself, it would take endless hours. And the great thing is, because you're a viewer to my channel and they're partnered with me, when you use my code FOOTBALL on 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿, you get 60% off your annual plan. That's right, 60% off your annual plan when you use my code FOOTBALL. So go check it out now, or click the link in the description. Do yourself the favor, mate. Alrighty, baby. Thanks to 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿. Do check it out, by the way, because I've been using it, and seeing all the lists that I'm being removed from actually is genuinely giving me peace of mind. Let's get into it. Alright, so we'll end on silly season stuff with Rodrigo, who, by the way, Chelsea fans have spoken about before. Of course, underappreciated to a degree at Real Madrid. There's some people talking about maybe they should put Bellingham back at the tip of the diamond like he did last season, and have Mbappe and Vinny, kind of the same formation last season that did them so well, but they've kind of been trying to fit Rodrigo in. So many Chelsea fans have been like, he'd be great. It's a silly season report because it's coming from 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿, or 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿, whatever it's freaking called. One day I'll get that pronunciation right, but I do want to start with the Victor Osimhen stuff because it's, it's pretty poignant. It's lots of talking. Caveats. I don't know if Osimhen is a situation that could happen if we don't qualify for the Champions League. Maybe it is. Maybe he just wants to be scoring Premier League goals in the Chelsea shirt. I think he genuinely does have an affection for Chelsea, should we believe 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿. I tend to think he does. Maybe he thinks, right, they're so close, one season in Europa League, and then we're back in the Champions League, and, let's win cups, let's win silverware of Chelsea. I'm ready, baby. There's a chance. Now, rightly, I always forget. You guys always correct me down in the comments, so I'm going to call it now while it's in my brain. That often behaves like a sieve. Osimhen is an African striker. Chelsea have one in the shape of Nico Jackson, who probably isn't going anywhere, but I have heard people say, I think Simon Johnson of The Athletic said, if Chelsea get an offer for Nico Jackson, like a £60 million offer, obviously which would be more than doubling their money then on him, don't be surprised. They only see a few players as untouchable, and at the moment, it's probably Palmer and Caicedo. Even though we're all terribly excited, you know, to see Santos, even though all of us are like very, very pleased with the development of, you know, Enzo Fernandez and maybe Reece James as well, because, you know, captain fabric of Chelsea, what's left in the team is so important. But a lot of players are for sale, and I don't want to speak for people. Even if there is a lot of believers of Nico Jackson out there, and they understand how his profile helps Chelsea play, if Chelsea more than double their money on him, they bring in a Victor Osimhen. Who knows, like maybe a Delap comes in as a second striker instead of Jackson. This is all dream scenario stuff. I mean, I'm not saying I dream of selling Jackson, but I did want to highlight and acknowledge that yes, 2 AFCON strikers going off to AFCON, you know, at a crucial part of the season, it leaves you real short. It does. You know, Liverpool had it when like Mane and Salah went, and yeah, it's real tough. Even if you've got like a 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐒𝐂𝐒𝐏 knocking about, probably not enough. So that is really, really worth talking about. And yes, I acknowledge that, and I should be acknowledging it more. So we're going to get into the stories now. Okay, so first of all, there's this article on 424. I'm not gonna read it, but yeah, Enzo Maresca is apparently interested in losing some players. It's not really a story. It's Raheem Sterling, which is a bit like duh. Christopher Nkunku, which is pretty much also like duh. And Mudryk. I mean, you can only sell Mudryk if he's not suspended from football, I think. Or maybe not. Because if he's under contract for so long, and he gets banned for 18 months, maybe you can sell him. You just sell him for a massively reduced price, and the club that takes him on, you know, trains him for 18 months, doesn't really pay him. Maybe there's like some weird deal that can be done. I don't know, speculating to a degree. But even if we put a pin in Mudryk for the moment and just say, you know, Raheem Sterling, he is on £300,000 a week. Christopher Nkunku is on £200,000 a week. That is £500,000 every week on 2 attackers that simply do not work. Now, I want to be very firm here on my position. I am generally, broadly, loosely to a degree, a fan of the wage structure. I think it's important. It helps Chelsea massively in PSR. I've been very firm for a long time on how I think incentive-based contracts are very, very useful for player development, for them to push themselves, especially with younger players. We're the youngest team in the league. I think there's a lot of good to be said about it. That being said, I do endorse flexibility for certain players, and Victor Osimhen would be one of those. And personally, I think your Cole Palmers, your Nico Jacksons, your Noni Madueke's, whoever in the squad will look at Osimhen, Scudetto winner, African Player of the Year winner, you know, scores loads of goals, senior, and be like, all right, you earn a few more quid than us. I think they'll stomach that much, much more than, I don't know, say Chelsea signing a Nico Williams, a very young player, and just giving him his wage demands of 250k a week. Yeah, that's when, you know, Cole Palmer starts knocking on the door going, excuse me, my pay rise has taken me to less than half of that, and I've been tearing up English football, and I'm a proven asset. So, Nico Williams, I'm uncomfortable with breaking the wage structure. Victor Osimhen, I'm okay. And the reports suggest that it won't necessarily be crazy stuff. I want to cite this article here. So this is coming from One Football. Looks like my green screen is not entirely. Okay. What's happening here? Oh, the microphone. Just hold on. I'm having problems. Okay, I think I've fixed everything. Osimhen here on One Football. Let's jump into this, yeah? Alright, so let's move this back over. Nigerian striker Osimhen is planning his next career move, and a switch to the Premier League is high on his list, of course. He's fallen out of favour with Napoli. It's done there. They've got Lukaku. You know, Conte doesn't want Osimhen. He doesn't want to go back. it is done. He moved to Galatasaray on loan, and he's done really well in Turkey. The 26-year-old has bagged 28 goals and 6 assists in 32 games, which of course is incredible. That is 34 goal involvements in 32 games. He's clearly in form. He's spearheading them to the title, so he's going to win yet another title. 20 goals and 4 assists in 23 league games. Again, more than a goal involvement per game in the league. And he's poised to leave them at the end of the season. I think he enjoyed his time there. Amazing support. Going to win a league title, just showing he's still the boy. Do you know what I mean? He's still only 26. He would have won multiple league titles in different countries. African icon for his international team. He did he win with Lille? No, when did Lille win the league? Anyway, he's just super successful. He's proven it all over the gaff. France, Italy, Turkey, and because he's a physical, fast player, personally, I see no issue in the Premier League. The Turkish giants do not have a clause to sign him permanently. I don't think that was ever the plan for him. It was kind of like a plan B, plan C, late doors transfer loan, wasn't it? And they cannot match Napoli's lofty demands. So Osimhen has his heart set on a Premier League move. Now listen to this, guys. Napoli have slapped. Now, slap sounds like a high amount, but I reckon this is gently or maybe you slap a good price down and you gently place an awkwardly high price down. Either way, £56 million. That's like what we paid for Pedro Neto. That's like what we paid for Romeo Lavia. It's less than what we paid the base fee for Mudryk. For the one-to-way striker, making him an attractive target for several clubs across Europe. However, the Premier League could be the next destination. Of course, Man United and Chelsea, and even Arsenal in the market for a striker. I think because of Arsenal's new sporting director, they're going to go very hard for 𝐃𝐄𝐒𝐏 of Sporting. I think they will go for him, personally. And if you ask me, I've been pretty firm again. I think Osimhen would suit Chelsea a lot better than 𝐃𝐄𝐒𝐏. Chelsea came close to signing Osimhen, of course, before his move to Gala, but they couldn't agree on a suitable wage structure. Although apparently we came close. That was the reports, and that was the suggestion from John Obi Mikel that they were really close, and last minute it didn't happen. And it was actually Chelsea really demonstrating flexibility on what is a strict wage structure. Going, look, we're going to try and get you as much of the money you can. Because remember, Napoli gave him a new contract, one that they never, ever intended to pay him. They gave him a new contract so he would sign, so they retained value. They were like, right, we're just going to sell him straight away. These wages, these high wages that we can't pay, it doesn't matter because we're never going to have to pay him. We're just going to sell him straight away. But then they were like, oh dear. Yes, my green screen again is going walkabouts. Whatever, I'm just going to leave it. They never intended on paying it. But he's like, well, that's what I'm worth. That's my wages now, which has kind of created a frustrating position for everybody involved. But Chelsea were like, look, we can do it with, Champions League bonuses, goal bonuses, appearance bonuses. You do it, you perform, you take us to the next level, you earn your wages. I think he was a little bit more, well, I want a sort of guaranteed wages because I'm worth that. I've earned that. By all accounts, it was close, and from what John Obi Mikel says, Chelsea can pick it up again. He's believed to be asking for a salary around £9.4 million, but this is after tax. The after-tax situation, I think Reece James is on a higher, because Reece James is one of our highest earners. Again, Osimhen, I'll be very, very comfortable. Maybe not with Raheem Sterling money, because you just don't know, but a sort of Nkunku, maybe more than Nkunku. Get rid of Sterling, sell Sterling, and then Osimhen can become Chelsea's highest earner. Maybe not quite on the Sterling money. That's what I'd be comfortable with. 200, 250, it's a lot of money. Not 300, and that 250, maybe the base rate is 180, but I'm just theorising here, but it goes up to 250 if you score over 15 Premier League goals, if we qualify for the Champions League. Again, incentive-based contracts, so you just go, you push yourself. Because people love it or hate it, people push themselves for money. That's just how it works. So that's, in theory, how I would like to work. Yes, so it doesn't fit into Chelsea's current revamped wage structure. Also, but Man United are looking to revamp their wage bill. Yeah, because they are doing the Ineos, Jim Ratcliffe's doing a lot of stuff the same. It also mentions, of course, both Man United and Chelsea are looking at Liam Delap. Arsenal will be more willing to match Osimhen's demands, though of course they are still drooling over Newcastle marksman Alexander Isak. I do think, personally, and this is speculation to a degree here, I think Arsenal are looking at trying to get Isak out of Newcastle. I think that would be near impossible. But then, because of the sporting director and his relationship and how much he's been chasing Gyökeres, I think they'll go for him. And it does feel like, to me, I can see Osimhen going to Man United. I can. But again, fortunately for us, they are in a position where they can't just pay silly money. Like Chelsea and United, historically, in the Premier League era, are the two silly wage payers. I know that we've been overtaken now by Man City, who are paying crazy wages. And Arsenal, pay Havertz like 300k a week, Bukayo Saka 300k a week. I would feel very uncomfortable personally with my club paying Kai Havertz £300,000 a week. I think he's a good player. I think we did well to get him off our books he was on 220 at Chelsea. Again, I'd feel really uncomfortable paying Havertz 220k a week. He's a great player. He's got solid goal output. He's if you can make him work, he can look really, really good, but he's too niche. Sort of Nkunku-esque, kind of. I'd feel uncomfortable with all them, man. But a bread and butter centre forward, you can sort of throw the bag at, Personally, that's what I think. And Osimhen, like I said, 200 round base salary that goes up. I do think the young Chelsea squad players would understand because, if he goes to win the league title in Galatasaray, he shows his record in France, Italy, Turkey, African awards. I'm a senior player. I think Chelsea players would have to go, fair enough. As long as it's not insane. If it's as long as it's not crazy money, I think we could make it work. A little reminder of how good this guy is at the moment. Here he is on 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐒𝐓. He is an all-round finisher and a target man, which is precisely what we need. As you can see here on his touch map, that is what I want to see. There, baby. Not Pedro Neto here and here or Nico Jackson here. Stick me in the box. I'm going to score you goals. He's a good dribbler. He's great at assisting. He's the freaking best at shooting. And he is incredible at aerials, which Nico Jackson's weakness. So it is just what the doctor ordered, guys. It's absolutely what the doctor ordered. Let's have a quick look at his stats here. Look at his polar chart, guys. It is... So he's overperforming his expected goals as well. Expected assist receipt, it's through balls. So he's always there to get assisted. He always makes the right moves to receive through balls. Expected offensive value added, massive. Non-penalty XG, massive. Aerial wins. He just everything in the box he wins, which will be great defensively as well. Drogba vibes. I mean, guys, his expected goals. Yeah. He's top 1% in Europe for strikers. Non-penalty expected goals, top 1% in Europe for strikers. Chance creation, still pretty good. His expected offensive value added, great. And just, he's not about progression. He's about finishing chances and scoring goals. The stats are there. The numbers are there. He is incredible. And I think he's worth it. And I said to George here on the collab I did with George Benson, I just feel like he feels like a Chelsea striker, aura, mentality monster, arrogance, strength. I said it again a few times recently on the internet. You don't stay up. Opposition defenders don't lay in bed the night before because they have to face Nico Jackson. Certainly Nkunku the next day. The way they used to lay up and go, freaking hell, man, I need to play against Drogba or Costa tomorrow. Oh, God. They'd think like that, Osimhen. Yeah. They'd think about that, Osimhen. And that's huge, man. We haven't got much time, so I'll just quickly wrap up now. 𝐃𝐄𝐒𝐓. This is being cited on Caught Offside here. It's basically talking about Rodrigo. Chelsea confident of landing Liverpool target with £120 million offer. Again, I don't know why this publication gets cited so much, because I don't see us spending 120 million. I mean, we do need a winger. If we signed Rodrigo, he's a superstar. He really is a superstar, Brazilian. Eden Hazard said, when everyone was talking about Vinicius Jr., Eden Hazard said in John Obi's podcast, Rodrigo, man, he's the guy. He's under 25, so he fits Chelsea's model. you know, when we bought 24-year-old Felix, Neto, and Sancho, so he's 24 as well. He fits the model. Again, even if we drop the bag on him because we think, yeah, he's Galactico, and, you know, we do know, I know Todd Bowley's not much in charge at the moment, but we do know they do like a marquee high-profile signing alongside these cheap South Americans. So I do personally see the desire there, but the huge stumbling block, guys. I just spent 5+ minutes talking to you about wage demands with Victor Osimhen. I mean, Rodrigo is a Brazilian international playing for Real Madrid. Even if he thinks, all right, I want to go and, you know, be the main man somewhere, I can't do that in a team with Mbappe and Vinny. Even Jude's, you know, so I'm going to go to Chelsea and be the guy there for like 7 years and, you know, express myself and grow as an attacker. The wages is huge. But let me know what you think. Let's just read that one more time before I end. How much was it for Victor Osimhen? 50 odd million, 56 million. I mean, it's half what he's actually worth, you know, as a striker, at least. Less than half, really. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Guys, it's the end of the video, so do check out 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐒𝐏, my partner, because it is really, really worth it. Click the link I'll put the link in the description. I'll pin a comment on this video. Do click it, go check it out, because I am delighted to be partnered with them, and they're really cool. And if you want to support me as a content creator, you can do so by checking 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐏 out. And they are decent. I wouldn't have partnered with them otherwise. Other than that, keep it locked. I hope to see you back here soon. Peace.